Hello and welcome everyone to Copy and Paste, the clean and family-friendly Reddit reading podcast. This is the 9th episode of r/EntitledParents, and I can't believe it's already been a week. And don't forget, if you like this podcast, then it'd be greatly appreciated for you to like and subscribe. Thank you for joining me. Okay, let's get started. And the first post by user /hardcore-spatula. This happened to me a few hours ago, and I'll try to keep it brief. About a week ago, I ordered Alpha Sapphire, and today it arrived. My friend and I walk home together after school, so I, seeing the notification that my package arrived to my house, decide to walk up my front porch to check my mailbox. Let me remind you again, this is my mailbox, not some random person's packages. My friend had left by this point, so it was just me on my front porch. Well, it was just me until I hear someone clear their throat from behind me. I turn around to this lady and her son. She says, "Excuse me, the owners would be quite upset if they knew you were taking their packages." I laughed and said, "Ma'am, if you actually knew them, you'd know they'd be happy if I brought their packages in." She responds with, "Uh-huh. How about you put those packages back where they belong?" I respond with, "Yeah, in my house." I gestured to my house. "So, I'll be doing that." She says, "There are so many porch pirates in this damn neighborhood. How do you feel setting this example for my child?" I have to mention here, I know everybody who lives on my street, and she doesn't live here. At this point, I'm starting to get tired, so I turn around and ring the doorbell. "Happy?" I say. She responds, "I'm not moving out of this stairwell until the owners of the house come out, you know?" I nod in a sarcastic way. It took a solid minute, but eventually my mom opens the door. She notices the woman before me. Can I help you? Can I help you? My mom asks the lady. "Yes, actually. Do you know this boy?" The lady responds. I wave to my mom, and she audibly laughs. "You serious? This is my son." The lady gawks, and then walks away. My mom asked what that was about, and I explained. I guess she's coming from a good place, but what the hell, lady? I don't know what happened in that previous post. It was like my brain froze. But the second post by user /peachykoi09a. For some context, since last year, I've been sick. At first we thought I'd need surgery. However, the doctor wanted to check something out first and sent me to another doctor. After a couple months of testing, this was the last one needed. I also had messed up my leg during this time, and it made it extremely hard to walk on my own. My doctor suggested I buy a cane, which I did. Another thing about me, while I'm an adult, I have an extreme babyface syndrome. People have thought I'm an 8th grader while I'm a freshman in college. My height of 5 foot doesn't help that either. Now with context, let's get to the story. Peach is me, NB is nice boy, EM is entitled mother, SG is security guard. I'm sitting in the doctor's office, waiting for me to get called back. The doctor's office was absolutely packed, so it took a while for me to get called back. After 5 minutes of waiting, a 7-year-old boy and a mum walks in, and checks in. Both sit down in front of me, and I don't really think anything of it. I move my cane more towards me in order to avoid them tripping, and look at the TV as I wait. After a couple of minutes, I hear a small voice speak. "Excuse me?" I look down from the TV and see the little boy across from me looking at me. I say, "Yes, can I help you?" By the way, my little boy voice is not good. "How come you have a cane?" The mother looks up from her phone and looks at me, then him. "Don't ask people those questions." "Oh, it's okay. I don't mind people asking. I had an injury and the cane helps me walk." "Does it hurt when you walk?" "Sometimes, but the cane helps." I know kids tend to be naturally curious, so I didn't take the nice boy's comment as rude. After he asks, we start talking about how our days were going, our age, and eventually got talking about birds. This kid was an absolute encyclopedia about birds, and told me a lot of facts about birds. One of my favorites he told me is that a toucan's skin is actually more translucent, which is crazy. The nice boy noticed my necklace, which is a metal raven, and said, "Wow, I like a necklace. Is it a raven or a crow skull?" It's a raven skull." "You know a lot about birds. That's really awesome." "Yeah, I really like," entitled mother cutting into nice boy talking. "Excuse me." I looked to her. She had this look of pure hatred and disgust. Yes, is there something wrong? Why are you wearing a skull around your neck? That's kind of inappropriate, don't you think? No, it's just a metal raven skull. Nothing inappropriate about it. It's kinda satanic, isn't it? What? Her saying that blew me out of the water. In what world is wearing something like a metal bird skull satanic? Ma'am, it's just a necklace. It's nice, I liked it, I bought it. Until mother says, you really need to take it off. You're gonna corrupt my son. We're Christian. Looking over to the nice boy, he looked as dumbfounded as I was. Mama, it's just a necklace. Until mother, be quiet. To me, you need to take that off right now and give it to me. Also, you look too young to be using a cane. You're just wanting attention. Me taking none of her BS. Ma'am, I'm not giving you my necklace or my cane. And if anything, you're the one wanting attention and ignorant for thinking that just because my necklace has a bird skull on it, it's satanic. Also for thinking young people can't have a cane just because they're young. Young people can use things such as canes and walkers all the time. How dare you talk back to me? Okay, my horrible voice, I'm sorry about that. At this point, she got up and tried to grab my cane and necklace. I was ready to push her back. But the security guard who was coming inside for some water stepped in between entitled mother and me. The security guard says, Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to sit down and leave this person alone. What? No, they're satanic. I'm trying to free them from Satan. Security guard says, Ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Now, this kind of behavior isn't tolerated here. But my son has an appointment. I can't leave him here. Can you call his father? If not, you will have to reschedule. My dad's in the car. At that point, the security guard escorted entitled mother out of the building, and the nice boy's dad came in to watch his son. The nice boy's dad apologized profusely for his wife's behavior and stated that she was a little eccentric. After 10 more minutes, I was called back and said goodbye to the nice boy. After my appointment, nice boy and his dad were gone, and I went on my way. Something that I think is funny, however, is what nice boy's dad had said regarding entitled mother. I don't even know why she said that it was satanic. She's not even Christian. She's an atheist. I am sorry for my horrible voice. I feel like my brain is broken right now. But now, onto the third post by an NSFW account. Me and my dad have autism. We love sharks, and we were peacefully looking at the shark exhibit at the aquarium. This lady comes along with her child, and she lets the child scream extremely loudly until I have an anxiety episode / sensory. This lady comes along with her child, and she lets the child scream. This lady comes along with her child, and she lets the child scream extremely loudly until I have an anxiety episode / a sensory overload combination, and my elderly dad was very distressed as well. Although he is very introverted, he bravely tried to ask the lady to calm or soothe her child for my sake, but she screamed at him and caused us so much distress that we had to leave. I don't know what is wrong with people. Screaming at an elderly man who's just trying to protect his daughter from your own child's behavior is unacceptable and appalling. Where is the consideration for others? And the final post by user /CCFay. I work in a pet store, corporate company. Unfortunately, I figure big box pet stores aren't going anywhere anytime soon, so may as well take it one step at a time and try to introduce proper fish, reptile, etc. keeping. I have my fair share of dumb people, but this encounter is the only one that actually made my blood boil. So I'm over in the fish area when a mother and her son came over to me. She tells me they need help with fish, so I ask them what they're thinking, which prompts the father to wander over. He shows me the 5-gallon tank they've already got in a cart. I'm already cringing, call it a gut feeling. He points at the goldfish and says they'd like 3 small ones. So I go on to my usual script of, well, these get really big, you'll need a 75 gram for 3 inches, yada yada. At this point they're already looking pretty pissed, and I'm getting a bad vibe alert. He motions toward the feeder goldfish and asks if they could get some of those, and then I give him the same answer. He also mentions that they're going to need a suckerfish, also known as a common pleco. I hate when people call them this. It just proves to me that A, they don't actually know what they are, and B, they have no idea what they're getting into. I go into my usual spiel of how big placos can get as well, and it's then the mother that steps in with, well, we can upgrade when they get older. This is code for, we won't actually, but it's saying we will, so that you'll give us the fish. By the way, 9 times out of 10 times, unless someone can tell me exactly what tank specifications a certain fish is gonna need to as they get older without any prompting from me, I call bull. So instead I try to encourage them away from the bigger fish and towards smaller options. Mollies, platies, etc. I encourage them to get no more than 2 to 3. The guy finally settles on 2 platies and 2 guppies, to which I state, a bit more forcefully, since apparently they needed it, that I would not recommend more than 3. He kinda stands there for a second and looks at me, and says, well, they're probably not gonna live much longer than a month anyway. Now I know that due to past experiences, a lot of people think that fish don't live super long, which obviously isn't true. So I ask him, why is that? He says, well, I've got 3 kids. They're gonna be putting crap in the tank all the time. To which I replied, with what hopefully came out as a mixture of rage and horror, why are you getting them then? The mother piped up behind me with, because we can. Aha, no you can't. So I told them that I didn't feel comfortable selling any fish to them, and they marched out, leaving their full cart of random fish stuff for me to put away. I thought that was the end of it, joking around with my coworker as we bonded over the stupidity of people. However, my manager mentioned later that she'd gotten a complaint call about me, and I just started laughing. Apparently she called my manager and left a complaint, telling her that I wouldn't allow them to get any fish besides guppies and that I was horribly rude. She neglected to tell my manager the size of the tank they had or how rudely they treated this idea of living sentient beings. Luckily, my manager was understanding, but goddamn, the audacity. And unfortunately, that ends my broken brain. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd greatly appreciate if you like and subscribe. If you listen to this podcast, why? What is wrong with my brain? Unfortunately, that was it for today. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd greatly appreciate for you to like and subscribe. To listen to this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or when I'm on platforms, or to visit any of my socials, click the link in the description, and please feel free to send me an audio message or leave a comment. It's been a pleasure. Goodbye.